What's up, fam? Hope you're doing fantastic out there. Today, we are taking a look at a really freaking sweet knife from the mind of Jack Wolf and Cerberus Knives. So this is one of the JWK collaboration for the culture. So it is a collaboration design between Jack Wolf, been over at Jack Wolf, and Mr. Chris Ortiz over at Cerberus Knives. So this is, I think this is their first collaboration folder, if I'm not mistaken. Really cool artwork, as always, from the mind of Sean Tiffany. So you guys can see all that information there. Make sure y'all are checking those guys out. But let's go ahead and get the knife in here. You've probably already seen it if you watch my channel at all, but this knife is the Tango Show Special from Blade Show Atlanta. There are 4 other versions, I believe. Yes, 4 other versions of this knife that are currently available. I'll have them linked down below. I always like to link the homies over at TPK or C. Reisner Cutlery. Those guys have always been very kind to us and have always done really well with the community, so I'll have them linked down below. But the 4 versions of the knife are the blue Kieranite, the Crystal Lake blue Kieranite. Then there is the Miami Camo Carbon. And then there is the Polar Fat Carbon. And then lastly, the Sunburst Titanium. The Sunburst Titanium is the only one that is not a bolster lock like this one. It is an actual full frame lock. A couple of them have, you know, the DLC blades, and like this one here. But again, I've shown pictures of all of them. So this one is, like I said, this is the Blade Show exclusive. So it has crystallized titanium, DLC coated overlay here, or inlay here on both sides, and then it has the DLC coated S90V blade. And so this actually is still a bolster lock, being with the titanium and everything. Really, really sick design. I plan on playing with this one a little bit, getting some anodization done. So I'm kind of excited to see where this one goes when I get it done. But let's go ahead and jump into the knife itself. So it is 3.02 inches on your blade length and 6.97 inches overall, and just 3.1 ounces for this version. Now the other versions are showing at 2.5 ounces on the website. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't think there would be half an ounce of difference between this version and the other versions, but again, maybe because this does have the crystallized titanium overlays here, maybe it is slightly different with the carbon fiber. However, I would have expected the full titanium version to be the same weight, but it's showing us 2.5 ounces on the website as well. So I'm guessing it is actually 3 ounces like this one is, and then the carbon fiber versions are 2.5 ounces. But again, don't hold me to that. S90V, 60 to 61 on that. Again, this is a Cerberus Knives design, so Chris Ortiz did a fantastic job on these. $350 is the price tag, so going right for a Jack Wolf folder. A thumb stud, I think this is the first thumb stud knife Jack Wolf has ever done, and then this is also one of the first ones that he has done that is not a traditional pattern. This is the first one he's done that's not a traditional pattern. Pocket clip works very well, no issues with that. Lock bar access is fine. Front flipper works phenomenal. Thumb studs are amazing. Absolutely some of the best thumb studs I've had in a while. These are reminiscent of as good as the thumb studs on the Tuya Wrath. Completely different stud, mind you, but the way these work, the way these lock onto you, like they just work. They grab the thumb and then they allow you just to rocket this blade out. Action is phenomenal. I mean, it's kind of a shake shut action because it is a lighter blade. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into close-ups on this thing, and then we will go from there. So here you can see that crystallized titanium underneath that DLC. Of course, I believe it's a T10 pivot, T8 hardware, which is fairly typical of the Jack Wolf folders. But yeah, again, crystallized titanium. We have a little quarter length backspacer there. Same thing, crystallized titanium, DLC coated there. You can see that underneath there. Titanium pocket clip. Here we can see the only real thing that I have seen on this knife right there, it looks like there's just a slight miscoating because of that crystallized titanium. I don't know if it's just the DLC is thin there, or if we had just a slight misstep in the coating. I didn't notice it until I got home, and it's not really something I am that concerned with because I do, carry these knives, and that's on the clip side anyway. Not really a concern, but I don't know if I didn't hear anybody else say anything, so it's probably just a sample size of one here. I'm just kind of the luck of the draw and got one that has a little bit of a blemish there on the clip side, but regardless, we're looking at everything else looks really good. I mean, just typical with Jack Wolf knives. These things are just phenomenally well done. I mean, the bolster gapping is perfect. There's no catches. Everything is just beautiful. Of course, all your lock bar, everything is done well. Perfectly centered. Perfect lockup. Coming here on this side, we have the Wolf logo on the DLC blade. Compound ground, drop point blade here. Beautiful, beautiful compound grind. Huge, just really deep hollow grind here. Comes down to just a insanely sharp edge. Beautiful swedge here, belt satin, and then hand satin underneath that DLC. And there you have the Cerberus Knives logo. So you got the two big dogs joining forces. Really, really cool. Beautiful job. Sharpening looks to be perfect. Great job on that. Plunge grind is pretty good. Plunge grind ends right there. So near perfect plunge grind. Good spot. You got a little bit of a choke up spot here if you need it. Kind of a, it's kind of a small choke up spot, but you can certainly get up in there. No jimping on the actual back of the blade. No issues there. Jimping here on the back from the front flipper disappears underneath. Really, really, really good job on this knife. Like, I am absolutely in love with this knife. So I walked by to check these out when I first got there, and the guys weren't set up yet, so I had to come back later. Came back a little bit later, and they were set up completely, and I just gravitated right for this one. I thought I would want the blue, just because blue is my color, but gravitated and then just went right for this knife. Picked it up. And the first thing I did, I flicked it open. I just went, oh, wow. And forgive me, I can't remember the gentleman's name. It wasn't Ben or Donnie. It was the other gentleman they had helping them with their table. He's like, yeah. He's like, those are nice, aren't they? And I was like, golly. I knew it was going to be good, but like I said, I hit that thumb stud for the first time, and it just sung to me when I did. I was like, man. The front flipper worked phenomenal. It was so good. The Diamondback was my favorite folder that they've done to date, and I've handled them all, but the Diamondback was definitely my favorite. I say was because this I have to say it. This actually took over that spot. I love having the thumb stud, so it gives me that third method of deployment. I've got the reverse flick, which I have on the Diamondback. You've got the front flipper, which you have on the Diamondback. And then now I have the thumb stud, which gives me that third mode of deployment. Really don't have any issues with that at all. So I ended up walking away from it, came back like, I don't know, maybe an hour later, played with it for another couple of times, left, came back a third time, did my video, because the booth was pretty empty, was able to get my video done, and then came back again maybe 20 or 30 minutes later. And I told Donnie, I was like, just shut up and take my money, man. So, really, really phenomenal knife. Again, I'm really happy with it. I can't sing its praises enough, honestly. It's just on the small side of what I like. You guys know that I typically like a blade that is 7 to 8 inches in overall length, and this one is right at 7 inches. So, again, it's just on that small side, but it fits the hand really, really well. No real issues, no hot spots, nothing like that. So you do have kind of a small choke up spot here that works really well. Going in, doing that utility grip, again, it's just the right size, catches that just well, and then you've got that little bit of a belly there to come in there. You can get that tip pretty easily. Yeah, no issues there. Let's check out our hardware. T8s, I can't check that one because it's underneath the pocket clip. These T8s all seem to be working well, and then a T10. I think this is a T10. Yep, T10 here. Just the slightest bit of wiggle on that T10. So no issues whatsoever on that. Really, really great knife. Let's go ahead and jump into our size comparisons here. So this is a smaller knife. Most of these knives will be larger than the Tango here. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the smaller knives we have. We've got the Drop Bear, so it's a very similar size to the Drop Bear. So if you guys like the Drop Bear sizing, you are going to like the Tango. Same thing with the Pyrite. So this is the Pyrite. All is just a slight bit larger than the Tango. Militaw is going to be bigger by far than the Tango. So there we have that comparison there. Now we'll get into our other knives here, the American-made knives. We've got the Malibu. So Malibu is larger than the Tango. And now these two should be about the same size. We've got the Bel Air coming in. Bel Air is just barely bigger. I mean, it may even be the same size. It might just be playing tricks with me, but looks like it might be just barely bigger. The Bel Air being just slightly larger. PM2, definitely going to be dwarfed by that PM2. And then, speaking of dwarfed, we've got the MSI. So MSI is definitely much, much larger than the Tango. Yeah, guys, let me know what y'all think. I know these knives have been insanely popular. They were a lot of people really oogling over them, myself included, at the show. So I'm really impressed with it. I can't wait to see where this goes with the future of Jack Wolf. And Ben seemed to be really, really excited by it. Really happy with what he had planned. So can't say that I blame him. But anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Take care.